Good morning, good evening, good night. It all depends on what particular part of the country you're in, or whether you're even in this country to begin with, which doesn't really particularly matter. It's just one of those things you can tell by the title exactly what I'm going to talk about. And for some people, they're probably wondering what I'm talking about. They probably seen the title for the ones that are uninitiated, and it's like, what is the Great Reset or the Grand Reset or the Visions of a Grandeur? Because that's basically what it is. Visions of grandeur. It's a thought basically formulated, and not only a thought, because this is actually a plan that these people have for the majority of the population, which the ones that they plan on pulling the wool up of over a lot of people's eyes when it comes to this particular plan. Now, the whole thing is to basically do away with certain constraints, to do away with the need of owning anything. Like basically, that's what they're saying. Like you'll be in some form of inner city utopia, uh, but own absolutely nothing in this utopia. All your needs will be provided for. All your necessities will be taken care of. So basically, the need to really own anything will be obsolete. They'll provide for you, which we've heard that before. For the people that pay attention to the Bible, they kind of said certain things would be in motion, and the things that you should look out for. Now, the funny thing about this is they're talking as if this was something new, but in the scheme of things, or not even in the scheme of things, but to be brutally honest, not even I use these words out of context sometimes. It's not even brutally honest. It's just the absolute truth. This plan was formulated a long time ago, which some of the perpetrators still are involved in this particular. It may have changed faces, but the same association. And I'll elaborate more on that. Which and what I mean by that is because the Catholics back in the days, and no shot at those who study Catholicism, but back in the days, the Pope had came up with a plan to basically uh uh put every Catholic in a particular city, which was not going to be the Vatican. Too much hidden stuff there, but a place which may resemble the Vatican, not as far as in aesthetics, but just like the atmosphere of all holiness. Uh, and basically, you have like your strip, or a chip or something that's implanted in your skin. It's like if you need food, they provide it. You just go. All your money goes directly to them. They control uh every aspect of your life. And if you chose not to participate in this, they he basically considered you a rebel of God, a rebel against God, and that you were not a true Catholic because you refused to live in that sanctum, in the inner sanctum of all holiness, which would be a city that was basically not basically, but all Catholics, and anything outside of that would basically be like Revelations when you look to the back and they say at the end, only people that's going to be left alive and outside of paradise is going to be the witches, the warlocks, the people that have did bad things, and just God happened to spare them, or and you would be basically be in a book of Eli type situation where basically it's fend for yourself, it's kill or be killed, and the nature of the individuals around you are extremely hostile because they're trying to survive. And that's basically the thought pattern of these guys. And the reason I say that, and this is sorry, allergies killing me, but and this is not fiction. This is something you can go to the World Economic Forum. I think it's worldeconomicforum.com, and they'll tell you their whole plan. Now, the reason I said that what they're trying now has that they will be trying, that they people had tried before. Like, you have the codes, and not to say this is a cult, not to say this is a cult, but it's kind of got like a cult like, and there's people right now on the internet that's like, oh, this is a very positive thing, this will be something, strip the money from all these conglomerates and all these rich, and basically communism. But what they understand is the people that are owning all this will be the same people that you find disdain in, the rich and the extremely wealthy. And I'm not talking about just the rich, I'm talking about old money, the people that Eli Musk type money, and not even Eli Musk. I'm talking about Rothschild type money. And that's funny because when you get into the Rothschild have something to do with this. Not only the Rothschild, but the Pope himself, which the papal, uh it's funny because like I said, it all goes back to the Catholics and them trying to create a utopia where it's basically nothing but Catholics, and anything outside of that is just not gonna work. And the reason I state that and I say it's not gonna work because they have a clause. Now I'm not even a clause. I'm using words that I don't need to. It's they have they it's basically you know uh you can read something in Forbes that says the same thing. Like these people, the people that they're scared of are not even like militias and other forms of government, because they plan on tucking them into the fold. They're worried about the people that live outside of them. They call them not dissidents. They there's a word that they use basically to describe these type of people that are going to give them the most resistance. That these are the people that they worry about, the ones that are self-sufficient, the ones that uh are out there in the fields, that know how to make their own food, that have studied survival techniques, that are basically self-sufficient in that way, to where they don't need to live in within societal restraints. They don't need to live in this utopia. They can take care of themselves because they're smart enough to know that this is just another form of control. And these are and it's funny because when you read their on their forum, these are the people that they fear, excuse me. These are the people they fear. These are the people that they think are going to give them the most problems. Now, if you read, if you're into the Bible, you've gone through this song and dance before. You've seen in the Bible how it plays out, and exactly what these people are trying to accomplish. That's why you got vagabonds such as, I won't even say vagabonds, but you got these ragtag organizations such as the Illuminati. Now, I talked to some guy that was supposedly a self-professed Illuminati initiate, and and he basically had the same thoughts as these people. Now, the only difference is the Illuminati is supposed to be hidden, and these guys are outright saying that, look, you live in a better world if you just don't own nothing and you allow us to take care of you. And if you pay attention right now, they have a lot of different companies that are made up of not subdivisions and made up of multiple financial institutes ranging anywhere from America to across the pond to some Middle Eastern countries. And the funny thing is, sorry if I say it, but it's bipolar trying to formulate my thoughts. But yeah, it's made up of multiple financial backings, as far as like I said, from multiple different countries. And that's the funny thing. Yeah, this whole movement, it's not even necessarily a movement. It's basically corporate rating, and not even and the one that they're rating is America. And this is not just America, because this is a plan that they have for everybody, and those, like I said, that choose to live outside the confines of this so-called utopia are the ones that you can basically put a bullseye on your head, because if they fear you and they fear that you're going against the status quo, then you become the target. Now people are gonna get on here and be like, oh, well, it's good that they have this in place, because the way things are, and the rich just getting richer and the poor getting poor. So that's like going to jail and giving up all rights. They take care of you in there. They feed you 3 hods and they give you cot. They make sure you get your medical when you need it. It may not come as readily as you want. Like, you can't just get up and go to medical, but you can go man down and go to medical. But that's basically what it is. You're basically placing yourself inside a prison with restraints that you can't see. Think about it. Why would they be threatened by people that are self-sufficient? People that choose to live outside the confines of a utopia. We all know how that ends. We all know how that go. There's always some undermining. There's always some sneaky agenda going down. There's always people coming up missing because they choose not to go with the status. That's happening right now. People are coming up missing because they choose to speak against certain things. And yeah, it doesn't always happen. Uh, because you got to think about it. It's not because they're necessarily telling lies, or it's because you have, if they took out everybody that spoke against, their agenda, you know what I'm saying, it people would tend to look, they would start looking. Right now people overlook. It's like the alien thing. People are like, oh, there ain't no alien, so they overlook it. It's like so much different disinformation on the net. It's like when you do have somebody like the president come out and say, yeah, there is. People tend to be like, whatever, because it's been so much disinformation that who's to know what to believe? The way CGI works, you can pretty much do anything, and people will absolutely, it looks real, but it's not. You know what I mean? But that is real, people tend not to take notice of. But if people were coming up missing every time they spoke against the government, people would really be paying attention, and it would be more focused on it. Now, the whole reason I chose to speak on this because there's a lot of people on my page that are initiated, you know what I mean, as far as like when it comes to politics and watching the way things have been going as far as like the real estate market. Like I said, right now you have all these divisions, financial institutes buying up property in the U.S. Families are losing their homes that they've had that have been passed down from generation to generation, and because they, may have had some type of financial setback due to this whole COVID situation, which a lot of stuff is created in order to bring about certain things. It's always been that these type of people benefit off that. It's like, okay, we needed masks. Who benefited off of that? The people that are making, oh well, these masks are not necessarily good, so let's use these type of masks, and let's get scarce with the product, which is basically supply and demand. You could try a book called man, I'll think about it right now, but it was a whole economic thing you could read on, and it had all types of but it was good because it put you up on a lot of game, and the whole thing was supply and demand. They know, make it scarce. It's like you walk in Walmart right now, half the stuff that you think you really need is scarce because they know. But yet you can go to the General Dollar or one of these stores and get the same product, and it's the shelves are stacked. But see, Walmart plays a certain game too. It's not to speak against Walmart because they do got some good stuff. They got a lot of shady people that be up in there, but for the most part, they're good. But the whole reason, like I said, I chose to speak about it because a lot of people that follow me now are how should I say, they pay attention. They want to know about these things. They're no longer have blinders on and just think that the world functions a certain way and we just need to go with the way it's going. You got people that are actually have blogs, or people that are actually speaking up on certain things that's taking place in the government. You got people that are paying attention to foreign politics, not only their politics but their financial plans and the things they're doing to undermine the United States. And not necessarily saying that everybody that pays attention are staunch staunch patriots, but they believe in certain things. And even the ones that are not particularly on that thought pattern of the US, they still like to be in the know. And that's why I put out videos like this. Every once in a while there's a subject that I come across that I feel like I need to speak about. Now I'm gonna go on my phone and I'm gonna read you something, because a lot of people are gonna be like but you can go on the World Economic Forum and get some of this same information. Forbes has it as well. If you want me to start putting links to these other channels that speak about the same subject, that might be a lot more, not even a lot. They're just, they're extremely articulate. They've been doing it for a while, and a slacker like me, only does so much research. I mean, I do my research, but I'm not as articulate. So, you know what I mean? That might be a put off. Now, I'm trying to figure out. It says, and this is from, it says, all products will have become service. Says, I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes. Writes Danish MP Ida Aken. Shopping is a distant memory in the city of 2030, whose inhabitants have cracked clean energy and borrow what they need on demand. It sounds here it go, utopian until she mentioned that her every move is tracked, and outside the city live swaths of discontents. The ultimate depiction of society split in two. And see, the discontents. The discontents are the people that, like right now, you have the people that live off the grid, or the people that are not necessarily off the grid, but they're teaching their kids how to be self-sufficient, self-reliant, how to grow food, how to hunt, how to just basically live in wilderness because they know and they see the way society is going. These are the people that they call discontents, the ones that they fear. So for you that's out there, you got my boy Abandoned by Nature, double S. But the dude, honey, he's teaching his kids how to survive in the harshest, of you know what I mean? And it's and that's it's funny because I had told like a lot of my family members, like, yeah, this is the type of stuff that you should be teaching your kids. For the most part, you learn everything else with the streets and the fighting and all that, but to really teach your kids to be these are the people that they take issue with, you know what I mean? The ones that are self-reliant. And that's why I try to tell people like this, why people are in the ghetto and living on the street and thinking that gangster is gangster. The real gangsters is out there making sure that if something was to happen, like some sort of apocalypse they happen to live through, they could take care of their family because they're keen hunters. They know how to fish with the with scarce supplies, but they're gonna make sure their family eat. And this is something that people need to ingrain in their family, period. And so every generation to come after that knows how to survive. Like even myself, I plan on taking certain things and getting with certain people in order to be more self-reliant and more to be able to survive if I really had to. If I had to make makeshift shelter, like I could really do it. And right now I could pretty much live off anything. I'm just that type of person. But to really be in the know, of course I can't own guns because I'm a felon or ex-con, so that's out. But to be able to really take care of myself in certain situations, outside of fisticuffs when that no longer works, that's self-reliant. But that's who they call the discontents, and that's who they fear. In which, if you see any movie with any type of fake utopia, there's always the ones that they fear, the ones that don't need them, the ones that spread discontent, which they're basically just spreading the truth. Like, look, you don't need to be here. You don't need to rely on them. The whole thing, man, it's like eminent domain. If they need your property, they can run a street straight through it. They pay it off. You don't want to, they still going to pay you and you're going to be gone. That's how it is. And this is basically the same thing. All these people are buying up all this property that ain't even from the U.S., and that's the funny thing, because the U.S. is not even it's not even owned by the U.S. You got Russian billionaires owning half of Manhattan or half of this or half of that. So the U.S. pretty much, they don't even control their own dollar. The dollar is, by somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy because I know there's people that be like, yeah, why you talk about this? Because it's something that, people that should know. Now, this one, and this is just to tell you, this is by the Pope, and this goes to show you how they keep their hands in everything. And it says, to Professor Klaus Schwab, Executive Chairman of World Economic Forum, I am grateful for your invitation to participate in the World Economic Forum 2018. They got another one coming up. And for your desire to include the perspective of the Catholic Church and the Holy See and the Holy See at the meeting of Davos. I thank you also for your efforts to bring this perspective to the attentions of those gathered for this annual forum, including the distinguished political and government authorities present and all those engaged in the field of business and economic, work, and culture as they discuss the challenges, concerns, hopes, my bad, perspective of world today and of the future. Okay, sorry about that. Basically, I got a phone call in the middle of reading that, but at the end, it was like the economic work culture as they discuss the challenges, concern, hopes, and prospects of the world today and of the future. That's the Pope. That's the Pope himself thanking them for. I'm telling you, if you're one of those, I do my own thing, but if you're one of those that are a staunch believer in the Bible, you might want to take notice of that. It's they spoke about it. Yeah, like, I skip around. Like I said, I'm not the most articulate individual, but there is subjects that I have some level of knowing. And this is a prime example. Look, I'm gonna show you a picture. I don't know if it's gonna show because my phone is low and my storage is low. You know what I mean? I need to get a new phone. Who's volunteering to buy me one? But look it. And I don't know if this is the 2018 one. But look who's on the picture. Hold on. Let me see. I can't get this angle right. You got the Pope in the middle, and you got the Rothschild right next to him. It's like they said, man, in the Bible, when this and this get together, it spells, and that's all I'm gonna say on that. Basically, man, just be aware, be wary, and for the people that are possibly gonna come on here that may know a lot more about it and be like, oh, well, it's a good thing. It may be. It's yet to be determined, but from every movie that we've ever seen about any type of real utopias, there's always an underlying. Think about it. The discontent. They're worried about that. You're worried about people that are basically like lumberjacks or people that are able to survive in the wilderness without any help from society. You see, they already go at people that live off the grid. They don't want that. So if they're worried about them, like why not be worried about other countries invading this utopia and causing disdain amongst or whatever? You're worried about a few people that are actually able to take care of themselves outside of the constraints of the way other people live their life in society. California's already going to just absolutely garbage. I mean, it's going to the shit. I mean, think about it. Child molesters walking around prominently. You got dudes using the LGBTQ community in order to further their agenda. You got dudes on TV right now that tell our kids how to live, but then come to find out this dude is a freaking predator. You got dudes that you got people dressing in all types of ways and spreading messages of whatever, because I really don't get that, but that's a different, I'm not here to shit on anybody, but it's just pointing out, like, just look, that even if you don't believe in the Bible, everything that he said in the Bible has come to pass. It's like, even if you, let's say you're atheist or you're one of those people that don't believe in God, whoever wrote the Bible has some type of knowing of what's to come. Like, maybe it's the people that actually had something to do with what's to come that wrote the Bible, if that's what you choose to believe in. But look, man, these people are systematically breaking down every construct that has ever been put in place to protect us from certain things. They're everything from our social liberties to our way of thinking. I mean, just go on Facebook right now and say one thing. You don't even have to say it, just think it, and then all of a sudden it start popping up of that you thought about. Or, you know what I'm saying, and people will be like, oh, well, maybe you searched it on this, so it's pop up on this. It's like, you sure? Like, the technological advances that they're making now, you're sure that they're unable to pretty much predict exactly. That's how they break down all like that's a whole different subject. All I'm saying is just pay attention. Just pay attention, and maybe one day you'll come to understand that sometimes the things that may seem the best for us are not actually the best for us. A utopia. Come on, dog. You seen ultraviolet. You seen other you know, and what could come about. You know what I mean? And that's all I'm gonna say on that. Your boy Zod. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you pay attention. Hopefully you go search this up yourself. World Economic Forum. Uh, Good thing or a bad thing. Uh, that's on you to determine. But if you're able to live off the grid and you're able to take care of yourself, man, keep doing it. And I really applaud you type of people that could really make something out of nothing. You know what I mean? I watch survival all the time on how to build houses. Still don't know how to do it, but maybe that's something I'll learn in the future. But it's never too late to pay attention, man. Just be paying attention. With that being said, I'm your boy Zod, live from the Gulag, and be looking for real interviews to be coming soon. On that note, I'm out.